There's a place on Highway 299 in California where you can drive past the ghosts of 6,000 people. They live in brick ruins, roofless buildings that once held hotels, saloons, and stores serving the richest gold rush in Northern California. This is Shasta, California, called the Queen City of the Northern Mines in the 1850s. More gold flowed through here than almost anywhere else in California. Then the railroad chose a different town, and Shasta died so completely that today it exists only as brick skeletons along a highway. Before we dig into this story, quick question for you. Have you ever driven past a ghost town without realizing it? Drop yes or no in the comments right now. 1848. While the world was focused on Sutter's Mill and the California gold rush beginning in the Sierra foothills, a man named Pearson B. Redding made his own discovery: gold in the streams of Northern California. By late 1849, hundreds of miners had descended on the area, forming a tent camp they called Redding Springs. It was renamed Shasta around 1850, possibly after nearby Mount Shasta, the massive volcano dominating the northern horizon. And Shasta exploded. By 1851, it was designated the Shasta County seat, the governmental center for the entire region. By the early 1850s, between 3,500 and 6,000 people lived here, making it the largest town in Northern California's mining district. The Queen City of the Northern Mines. That's what they called it. And the nickname fit. Shasta wasn't just a mining camp. It was a supply and freighting empire. Freight lines terminated here before pack trains carried goods deeper into the mountains. Stagecoaches arrived daily. Assay offices processed gold. Hotels housed miners. Saloons never closed. Cosmopolitan, they called it. Miners from around the world, Europe, China, South America, the eastern United States, all converging on this Northern California valley, chasing the same dream. But gold rush towns had a fatal weakness. They were built of wood, and wood burns. In the early 1850s, fire swept through Shasta multiple times. A major conflagration in 1852 destroyed much of the original frame town. But the residents didn't abandon Shasta. They rebuilt it in brick. Red brick, fireproof, permanent, a statement that Shasta was here to stay. Those brick buildings still stand today, the very structures built after the 1852 fire. That's what you see along Highway 299. Through the late 1850s and into the 1860s, Shasta continued. The easy placer gold was diminishing, but hard rock mining kept the economy alive. Stagecoaches still arrived, freight wagons still departed.
Then came the railroad, and the railroad didn't choose Shasta. In the late 1860s and 1870s, the railroad was coming to Northern California. Every town wanted to be on the line because being on the railroad meant survival, and being bypassed meant death. The railroad chose Redding, a newer settlement just a few miles away with flatter terrain and better access to the Sacramento Valley. Almost overnight, stagecoach routes shifted, freight operations relocated, businesses moved to Redding to be near the railroad. Then came the final blow. In the 1880s, the county seat moved from Shasta to Redding. The courthouse closed, administrative offices departed, lawyers followed, then merchants, then families. Here's a question for you. If your town lost its railroad connection today, could it survive? Think about it and drop your answer in the comments. By the turn of the 20th century, Shasta was effectively dead. A handful of residents remained, stubborn holdouts, elderly people who lived there too long to leave, a few business owners hoping for a revival that would never come. But those brick buildings stood. No roofs anymore, they'd collapsed or been salvaged. No windows, the glass had broken or been removed, but the walls remained. Through the early to mid-20th century, Shasta existed in limbo, not quite alive, not quite completely abandoned. A few people still lived there. Highway 299 brought occasional travelers, but the brick buildings along what had been Main Street, they were becoming California's most visible ghost town. Then California stepped in. The state acquired key properties and established Shasta State Historic Park, preserving the ruins and restoring a few structures while letting most remain as dramatic brick skeletons. Today, Shasta is frozen in time, but intentionally, it's a museum of itself. The most iconic feature is that row of roofless brick buildings along Highway 299, visible to every driver passing by. Hotels that once housed miners, stores that once sold supplies, saloons where fortunes were gambled away. The courthouse has been restored as a museum, filled with stagecoaches, mining equipment, and artifacts from Shasta's boom years. Old cemeteries dot the hillsides, weathered headstones marking miners, merchants, children who died young, families who built lives in the Queen City. Pioneer-planted fruit trees still grow, apples, pears, figs, planted 170 years ago by people who believed Shasta would be their home forever. Shasta rose faster than almost any town in California. 6,000 people in just a few years, the Queen City of the northern mines, a brick empire built on gold. Then the railroad chose differently, and Shasta became a ghost, brick walls outlasting the dreams of the people who built them. Today, thousands of drivers pass these ruins every day on Highway 299. Most barely notice, but those red brick buildings are monuments to ambition, to the fragility of boom towns, to the way transportation routes determine which places live and which die. Before you go, tell me in the comments, would you stop at Shasta if you were driving Highway 299, or would you be one of the thousands who pass by without looking? Shasta, California, the Queen City that became a cemetery of brick. Shasta proves that being first doesn't guarantee survival. Sometimes one decision, one railroad route, can erase an entire city from the map. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into California's lost Queen City, smash that like button and subscribe for more ghost towns, abandoned places, and forgotten American history. Drop a comment. What other California ghost town should we explore? I read every single one. Until next time, remember, some ghosts are made of brick.